There are many disturbing things that happen in this world, besties, but some incidents are so shocking, so cruel, that they will haunt you long after you hear them. These stories are not just strange, they're terrifying. Let's talk about them. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay safe, and watch till the very end, because some of these are almost too disturbing to believe. Let's talk about the bloody knuckle trend.
The dark story behind
the bloody knuckle trend.
The bloody knuckle trend was a thing back in 2018 to 2021. To do this trend, you had to have a coin and a friend with you. Your friend would then ball their hands into a fist and lay it on a table. And then with all your strength you flick the coin against your friend's knuckles until they begin to bleed.
Besties, I can't even imagine how cruel this was.
People ended up being hospitalized or having really sore knuckles for extended periods. If you're smart enough, you would know not to attempt this kind of trend or challenge. It is not worth it.
Friends, literally friends, took coins and smashed them against each other's knuckles until they were bleeding. People ended up in the hospital, all because of a so-called game. It's sick. How can pain and blood ever be considered fun? Just thinking about kids laughing while someone bleeds makes me shiver. Next one is the Dyatlov Pass incident, and besties, this story keeps me awake at night.
Did you know 9 experienced hikers vanished in the Ural Mountains and what they found defied all explanation? In February 1959, Igor Dyatlov led 8 skilled mountaineers on what should have been a routine winter expedition. They were experts, well-equipped, and prepared for the harsh conditions. 3 weeks later, search teams found their tent cut open from the inside, all belongings abandoned. The hikers had fled barefoot into the freezing snow wearing almost nothing. What they discovered next was horrifying.
9 experienced hikers, people who knew exactly how to survive in the harshest conditions, suddenly cut themselves out of their own tent and ran half-naked into -30 degrees. Some were found with their eyes missing, others with broken bones like they'd been in a car crash, and their clothes tested positive for radiation.
Some bodies were found with missing eyes and tongues, torn out by unknown force. One had a fractured skull, another had massive chest injuries. The autopsy results were even more disturbing. Internal damage consistent with extreme pressure, like being hit by a car. Their clothes contained traces of radiation, and their skin had turned an unexplained orange color. The Soviet government classified everything for 60 years. Even today, the declassified files raise more questions than answers. What made 9 experienced hikers flee their shelter and die in the wilderness?
Just imagine the fear that made them leave the safety of their tent. Something so terrifying we still don't know what it was. That thought alone is horrifying. Let's talk about Maria and 𝗏𝗆.
So initially, Maria had this plan that she was going to leave her inheritance, which was about 500,000 euros, to a charity. But 2 days before 𝗏𝗆 took Maria out to eat, Maria completely changed all that and put all her inheritance under 𝗏𝗆's name. So now investigators are kind of like, okay, what the hell is going on? They went from thinking that Maria's passing was due to a freak accident where she choked on spaghetti and nothing more than that, to now thinking that there was some foul play. Investigators began looking deeper into the days leading up to Maria's death and tried to find more evidence to build a case against 𝗏𝗆. This is when they found signed documents that basically gave 𝗏𝗆 the power to make decisions on Maria's behalf.
Besties, this is just cruel beyond words.
And also giving 𝗏𝗆 the authority to manage all of Maria's assets. Obviously, this was another shocker to everyone, because who in their right mind would hand over everything they worked for to someone that they barely even knew?
Maria wanted her fortune to help others, but then 𝗏𝗆 manipulated her, got all her money and control over her life. And then, suddenly, Maria choked and died? Besties, that's not just suspicious, that's betrayal of the worst kind. Imagine trusting someone only to realize they were plotting your death. It makes me sick just thinking about it. Next one is the Roblox search blocks incident.
Roblox Incidents Part 2. Search Blocks Incident. August 2nd, 2020. A Chrome plugin called Search Blocks. It was created. The plugin allowed to join other players, even to those you weren't friends with, or to those you had blocked. But that's not the point here, because November 22nd, 2022, Fripp, the creator of the plugin, he received an offer to buy the plugin by 𝗀𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆. The creator agreed, and 𝗀𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆, he became the owner. And on the same day an update to the plugin was released. And suddenly, thousands of players began to complain about the loss, your Robux, and your limited items.
This incident make me furious. Thousands of players lost their Robux, their groups, their hard-earned items, all stolen by one cruel update.
Some even lost their groups because they had a plugin installed. But why through a plug? Well then, 𝗀𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗃, who just recently became the owner, he released an update that had a virus in it, who stole Robux from all the players, and he put them on his second account, named 𝗿𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗁 by luckily a YouTuber named 𝗏 started an investigation, and he quickly discovered that the cause was Roblox plugins and 𝗿𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗏. So the next plug was removed from 𝗀𝗺𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 his Robux. That's all. Please follow my profile. Bye.
Besties, imagine spending years building something, only to watch it vanish in seconds. That's heartbreaking. The person who did this didn't care about the kids crying on the other side of the screen. That's disturbing.
On June 13, 2020, the tranquility of the city of Kazan in Russia was interrupted by a tragic event. An airplane that had developed problems in one of its engines was forced to make an emergency landing. Technical teams were quickly called in to carry out the necessary repairs. Among the workers, a mechanic was assigned to the faulty engine. After finishing the job, exhausted, he made an unexpected decision. He decided to rest inside the very engine he had just repaired. Moments later, without anyone noticing his presence, the plane was cleared for takeoff once again. The result was an inevitable tragedy which ended in his death.
This one makes me feel sick to my stomach. A mechanic finished his job and laid down to rest inside the airplane engine. Besties, just imagine, seconds later, the plane takes off. No one knew he was there. The thought of how quickly everything ended, in such a gruesome way, is unbearable. I can't even imagine the terror in his last moments. Let's talk about the Talking Tom glitch.
Let's talk about
The Talking Tom Glitch 1999 incident.
Please understand that this is just a rumor, which means this incident has been not confirmed to be real. The Talking Tom glitched incident is a viral rumor that spreads through social media, particularly TikTok, about Tom glitching. It's claimed that the incident occurred in 2015 and only works on versions between 1.2 and 1.5. To trigger the glitch, you're supposed to change the date on your device to December 12, 1999. Then, Talking Tom will start glitching, opening his mouth wide and popping his eyes out.
This one is creepy in a different way.
I know it's not scary, but I still want to talk about it. Please stay safe.
The Talking Tom glitch rumor says if you changed your phone state, the cat would glitch, eyes bulging, mouth stretching open unnaturally. Besties, even if it's fake, the thought of a sweet little app turning into something so twisted is terrifying. It feels wrong, like something innocent suddenly hiding evil inside. Next one is the Astroworld tragedy.
Explaining incidents, Part 1.
Astroworld incident.
Before we start, can you follow me on Roblox? This incident happened on November 5th, 2021, which was a long time ago. Travis Scott was the one who made this concert in Houston, Texas. It was supposed to be a very good concert until a fatal incident happened. 10 people died of suffocating. And the worst thing is that there was a 9-year-old kid who was in the concert. So the concert could only hold 50,000 people, but 20,000 people broke inside the concert. And more people went into the left side instead of the right side, making people in the left side suffocating.
Besties, this tragedy is pure horror.
Because of this, a child was squeezed to death. Even though people yelled Travis to stop the concert, but he kept going. To whoever was in this concert, I hope you feel good again, and the people who died, rest in peace. That's all, and stay safe, my slayables.
Thousands crushed together, screaming, begging for the concert to stop, but it never did. 10 people died, and one of them was a 9-year-old child. Just a kid. Can you imagine being trapped, unable to breathe, hearing people cry for help around you? It's terrifying, it's heartbreaking, and it never should have happened. Let's talk about the hospital incident.
Did you know that a man declared dead suddenly sat up on a hospital gurney? But the true story is so disturbing that the hospital erased all evidence. In July 2025, a chilling video was leaked from a hospital in Latin America. A man lay motionless on a gurney, declared dead by the staff preparing to move his body. Suddenly, the man's eyes shot open. He sat up so quickly that his foot hit the metal side of the gurney with a loud bang. The doctors and nurses in the room screamed and ran away in panic, leaving him alone. His gaze was glassy and empty, as if he weren't really there. He stood up slowly with unnatural movements.
This one terrifies me more than almost anything.
As if something invisible was controlling him. He looked directly into the camera, his lifeless eyes piercing through the lens, before the footage abruptly cut off. The video went viral and then disappeared. The hospital denied everything, and authorities censored all news about the incident. What makes this even more terrifying? This wasn't the only time a dead person came back to life in a hospital. 𝗿𝗵𝘆𝗃𝗯𝗍's case was the first caught on camera, but not the last. What he saw in those final moments was what brought him back from the dead.
In a hospital, a man who had been declared dead suddenly sat up on a gurney. Besties, the way nurses screamed and ran from the room, it tells you this wasn't normal. His eyes were glassy, his movements weren't human. It's like he wasn't even alive but controlled by something else. Just the thought of watching that video, I can't even process it. Next one is the 5 Nights at Freddy's virus.
Testing viruses, Day 6. This is a FNAF-themed virus. Let's all in it. Arabic, let's press allow. Jump scare. Oh my god, this scary music is playing out the app, and my wallpaper has turned into this weird image.
Besties, imagine downloading a game and suddenly your wallpaper changes, your device glitches, and horrifying sounds start blasting. That's not just creepy, that's pure psychological torment. And then it killed the whole system.
Let's press the app again. Oh, it's all black. Hurry, let's delete it, I'm scared. Oh no, it killed my VM. Do not download this virus on your actual phone. Stay safe.
This wasn't just a prank, it was meant to scare and hurt people.
These are the worst of the worst videos on the internet explained, and today we're talking about the diving face split video. The video that I'm about to explain might be one of the hardest things to watch on the internet. Whatever you do, never look it up. This video was released onto the internet in July 2009, and around September 2009, the video went completely viral. The video shows a group of teenagers having fun on a summer day. The group is taking turns jumping into the sea from an elevated surface, and it looks like the drop is about 20 feet high. The first person to jump off dives into the sea completely fine and unharmed. The second teenager is then ready to jump. He stands over the drop and readies himself and then jumps. But as he jumps, he kind of loses his footing and completely slips. And immediately the jumper realizes that he is in deep, deep trouble. In midair, you can hear him panicking as he realizes he didn't clear the clearance he needed to. He then falls into the sea, but his face hits the fishing walkway below. And immediately when this happens, everybody he was with lets out an ear-piercing scream. As the video plays, the victim's unconscious body is floating in the water, and the water around his head immediately turns red. The video then cuts forward and it shows a rescue boat trying to save the jumper. And during this part of the video, the entire sea is completely red with the jumper's blood. The video then jumps again to the victim in the hospital, and at this point you can see the true nature of his injuries. And I'm telling you right now, it's horrible to look at. The victim's face was completely split vertically from the top of his forehead all the way down to his chin. And what makes this even worse is that he's still alive throughout all of this and fully conscious. During this point of the video, you can see the doctors try and hold the victim's face together. And apparently the doctors were doing this to help the victim's breathing, because his face was split in two. Both his nose and mouth were completely destroyed.
Besties, this is one of the most disturbing videos ever. A boy slips while diving, hits his face, and it splits completely, and he's still alive. Doctors tried to hold his face together while his eyes darted in fear.
And as I said earlier, he was still fully conscious. Despite the injury, another disturbing part about this video is that you can see the victim's eyes darting across the room in complete shock, pain, and panic. One of the doctors can also be translated to saying, Where do I even start? Where do I even start? Meaning this injury was so brutal that experienced doctors didn't even have a clue on what to do. And sadly, the victim passed away 2 days after the freak accident. Again, I urge you to not look up this video because it's definitely one of the worst accident videos on the internet. The video is just horrific, and may this boy rest in peace.
I can't even imagine the pain. Just picturing it makes me want to cry. No one deserves to suffer like that. That video is pure cruelty. This one is another nightmare. The Russian lathe incident.
Hey, Apple! What?
Apparently it's that time of year again, guys, where we're going to talk about this infamous incident that you really should not look up because it's so disturbing. This is a Hey Apple slideshow. Haven't covered one of these in a while. Starts off by showing something known as a lathe machine saying Hey Apple.
Besties, if you've seen it, you'll never forget it.
An image of a worker saying what, and the final image not loading because of how disturbing it is. The incident that this slideshow is referring to is known as the Russian lathe incident. If you guys have watched this video, you know just how bad it is. For some backstory, a lathe machine is usually used to shape things like wood or metal, and this metal will be placed on a spinning rod and it spins extremely quickly. But working around this machine is extremely dangerous, especially if you're wearing baggy clothing or long hair, because it will usually catch these things in it and tear them off your body. So in this video, the worker gets a little bit too close to this machine, gets pulled into it, but instead of his clothes getting torn off, he basically gets eviscerated. Again, do not look up this video, take my word for it, you know what happens now.
A worker is pulled into a lathe machine, and instead of just clothes tearing, his entire body is ripped apart. The machine doesn't stop, it just destroys him. And people made a meme slideshow out of it. Hey Apple, what? That is beyond cruel. That's inhuman. Next is the tragic story of 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗃.
The tragic story of 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃𝗃's heartbreaking car accident. It's been the early morning of July 3rd of 2025 as the Liverpool football star 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 and his younger brother 𝗀𝗚𝗆 were driving along the 𝐴52 motorway in Spain. They were on the way to the UK, but because flying wasn't an option as 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 just had undergone minor lung surgery and was told not to fly, they were on the way to the port of Santander to take a ferry to the UK instead. The drive started off normally. The road was quiet, the weather was calm, and life was perfect, while 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 was also freshly married with his longtime love, 𝗴ซี้.
Besties, this one hurts. He had just gotten married, had his whole life ahead of him.
Mile after mile, everything seemed peaceful, until all of a sudden, as the clock hits 12:30 in the night, everything changed. While they were driving, all at once, one of the rear tires of the Lamborghini burst at high speed. 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 lost control of the car instantly. He couldn't regain the grip, and only seconds later, the car all of a sudden veered off the road and crashed. The impact was violent, and the car immediately caught fire. 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 and Andrei had no chance to escape, and by the time the emergency services arrived at the scene, it was already too late. 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃 and his brother 𝗀𝗚𝗆 were already dead. Rest in peace, and always drive safe.
Driving late at night, a tire bursts, and in seconds everything changes. The car crashes, bursts into flames, and both he and his brother die instantly. It's so cruel. One moment of happiness, gone forever. And finally, the one that breaks my heart the most.
It is 6:02 a.m. Friday, February 22nd.
This girl's death was captured on YouTube. February 23rd, 2018, Northwest Dallas, Texas. 12-year-old 𝗵ici𝗀𝗆 Rogers wakes up before the sun. It's cheer competition day, and she wants everything perfect. Her uniform laid out, her bowl flawless. So she sets up her camera, recording a YouTube video of her morning routine. On screen, she smiles, brushes her hair, adjusts her bow. To anyone watching, it looks ordinary. Just a little girl excited for the biggest performance of her life. But outside of her home, danger was building. Neighbors had been smelling gas for weeks. Only 2 days earlier, 2 houses on the same block had mysteriously gone up in flames, suspected gas leaks. No one warned 𝗵ici𝗀𝗆's family. And while her camera rolled, it happened. A blinding flash, walls ripped apart, glass shattered like gunfire.
𝗵ici𝗀𝗆 Rogers, just 12 years old, filming a YouTube video of her morning routine before cheer competition, smiling, brushing her hair, excited for the biggest day of her life. But outside her house, a hidden danger was waiting, gas leaks that no one warned her family about. And then, while her camera was still recording, her home exploded.
Then, darkness. Her home had exploded. 𝗵ici𝗀𝗆 was killed instantly. Her parents and brothers survived, but with severe injuries. Afterward, Aunt Mo's energy tore up blocks of Asian pipelines. By 2021, federal investigators called the system inadequate, citing years of poor leak detection. Her family's lawsuit ended in a settlement. May Michelita rest in peace. And if you guys enjoy the storytelling, then make sure to like and follow. Brah! Also, what do you guys think about my new name? Should I keep Tony Stark Brah, or should I change the name to something like Spooky Brah? Let me know in the comments below.
Besties, I can't even think about it without tearing up. She was so young, so full of life, and it was stolen in an instant because of negligence. It's not just tragic, it's unbearable. Besties, these incidents are some of the darkest, most disturbing things I've ever heard about. They show just how fragile life can be, and how cruel this world sometimes is. Please, stay safe, and take care of yourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep each other safe, and let me know in the comments which one of these shook you the most.